All right, Jeskai control. We played this deck yesterday. I really liked it yesterday. We played it last week. I really liked it last week. There is the fandom tournament coming up on Thursday that I need to submit a deck list for tomorrow. I think this is my leading pick, so I'm going to go ahead and dive on into some matches here. Really, the only thing I don't love about this deck is the fact that Sarkhan, the Fireblood, is the only non-foil card we have in the main deck. Unfortunately, he does not have a foil option because Wizards of the Coast hates us, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and dive on into some matches here with Jeskai deck and see how things go. Yeah, this is our first time playing the deck list without expansion. I think it seems good on paper. Phoenixes are really good. I play Esper and haven't made a land drop in my entire life. Warder, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub and for the 6 months. Welcome back. Be sure to take a peek at the deck queue and let me know which deck that's already in there you'd like to bump up. As a thank you for the tier 2 sub. That's true. The basics are also kind of ugly. Have you considered cutting Sarkhan for a worse card that has a holographic version? Would you believe me if I said that I had? I'm going to keep this on the draw. Like, obviously it needs some lands, but, like, I have a shock if they're an aggro deck. I have an opt, hopefully it's some lands. There's 25 lands in my deck. This is a 26 land deck. Details on how the deck queue works can be found here. I am going to opt in response to this duress. Generally speaking, opting in response to a discard spell is wrong, except in the explicit case where you are looking for a land, which we are, so I'm going to opt in response. I received plat with Civic Nexus recently. Tell me I'm a bad boy, please. What's going on, Hopix? Naughty, naughty Hopix. Alright, they missed a land drop. That's good for us. I assume because they took the shock, that implies they have a Thief of Sanity. We get a bunch. We had 3 looks here at a way to kill it. Only needed 1. So we actually get to play Niv-Mizzet next turn, right? I get to flip the treasure map and jam him into play. So if this is a Nicol Bolas, wow, that's so much worse than Nicol Bolas for us. Holy crap. So in my experience playing a lot of different... In my experience playing a lot of different Grixis decks this format, Grixis is pretty dog poop against this format in general. However, Grixis does tend to be good against decks like Jeskai Control that don't have enchantments they have to worry about. I'm going to jam this into play. It's probably just going to die, but it's like also not safe in my hand against the Carnage deck. So, wow, I don't even get to draw a card. That's so brutal. Woof. Well, that went as poorly as it possibly could have. Is there an amount of money you need to play all 5 matches with the Modern deck? $200. Or you can submit the deck twice and get all the matches on multiple different days. But Modern, I'm treating Modern just like Standard. They're all being treated the same. Decks are being played not for a given number of matches, but for a specific time frame. So if your deck wins slowly, you're not getting extra matches with it, basically. And it's not 60 minutes, it's closer to 90 minutes. So I'm not, like, cutting the decks off in an hour. Like, the deck we played today was 4 matches, and we went about 100 minutes with it. Drawing the 3rd Niv was good, believe it or not. Yeah, Rekindling Phoenix is pretty good in this matchup for sure. So this does kill my Rekindling Phoenix, but with the Niv-Mizzet trigger, it kills their Nicol Bolas, so I think it's worth casting. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest, don't you cry no more. Do. This does let them shock or lightning strike my Niv-Mizzet and kill it. Nope, people just like to play Grixis. Grixis is a fan favorite. This does give them the opportunity to do this, which is kill my Phoenix, but I think it's worth taking their Nick off the table. This means that they have Plaguecraft or Eldest Reborn I get got, though. Feels bad. Maybe that was too aggressive. Yeah, maybe my play was too aggressive there. Just because, like, their Nick was still 2 turns away from flipping.
Don't doubt my methods.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake on my part. I think because they were still 2 turns off of flipping, I should have just let it go. Should have listened to Elsa. We didn't know about any of their cards, but it was still just, like, overly aggressive, I think. I think we were kind of in a position where we likely couldn't lose if I just don't do that, and like I just took the game and punted it away. It's like any double removal spell punishes us there. Like obviously Plaguecrafter punishes us more than others, but any double removal spell punishes us there. So I think it was incorrect to do what I did because of that. Yeah, I guess Binding's good against Grixis, huh? Do I have a favorite deck in Standard? Yeah, I think it's this one. Do I want Spell Pierce or Negate? I think I'd rather have Spell Pierce, it's cheaper. Although neither seem fantastic, honestly. Yeah, is Stroke better because it covers Niv-Mizzet? Or it covers their Nicol Bolas. I can see that being okay. It also covers like Eldest Reborn and miscellaneous Planeswalkers, like Vraska's Contempt. It does counter Carnage still too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's bring Stroke in over Negate. I like that. Alright, punting game 1. Let's shake it off and win the next 2. Stops Hostage Shaker potentially as well. It's worth noting with this hand, though, if this had been a Negate, the entire hand would be foils. So that's something that we really need to think about. I'm going to bottom that land there. There's a ton of lands in our deck. And at this point, I just, like, want to find, like, a treasure map or a Sarkhan if possible. I'm just gonna play a land and pass. No, I'm gonna opt first. I could hit a treasure map. Alright, that's fine. Disinformation campaign. I think I'm bidding Stroke here. I'm kind of on the tap out plan at this point, and I don't really want to discard any lands at the moment. Huh. I think I lead on Rekindling Phoenix here. Like, it's kind of appealing to, like, get the Sarkhan down to, like, plow through to the Niv sooner. But, like, the Niv's not fantastic against a lot of their removals, so... Phoenix is less good against Grixis than it is against a lot of the other control decks, just because they have Lava Coil and others. Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and move along here, I think. The opponent's deck, like, isn't really something I'm worried about playing against on Thursday in the tournament, so I don't really care if we have a bad matchup here. I also, like, punted game 1, which didn't help.
What know you of dragons? I don't need this. I need this.
I don't think off-meta mid-range in general is hard, Tyrolic. I think explicitly the combination of cards that Grixis has is tough. But I think in saying any mid-range deck that's, like, not in the format in general is hard, I think is some hot nonsense.
Right on. Let's skip to the good part.
Yeah, Plaguecrafter is, like, awful in this format in general, but it's uniquely good against what our deck is doing. Like, it's really bad against aggro. I guess it's good against exactly Esper control, right? Because Esper doesn't have that many threats.
No time for a break. I fight with a dragon's rage.
Sounds good, Alkalol. Thanks for the support. Good to have you around.
What madness!
Yeah, I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a Plaguecrafter in this format, Deerlick.
Enough. We need to move quickly. Bolus told me I should.
And that's one of those things, one of the things that I've talked about a lot on past streams is, like, thinking about the results that you're having and, like, the matches that you're playing, and especially if you're like I'm kind of preparing for this event that I kind of care about a little bit, not a ton, on Thursday, but it's like, if your goal is to actually get testing in, playing random matches against people on the ladder is actually awful testing when you're preparing for tournaments. When you're preparing for tournaments, you should be spending time playing against decks that you know you're going to be playing against. And, like, my odds of playing against Grixis, especially Grixis with, like, Plaguecrafter in it, is so incredibly low in a tournament that it's, generally speaking, not worth my time playing against a deck like this, right? Hey, Kuritan Shi, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, I haven't seen a Phoenix out of them yet, and I wanted to hold Shivan Fire for something like Thief, so because I can play it out at instant speed. I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it. I'm valuing, having not seen Phoenix out of them, I'm valuing the instant speed higher than I am the Exile. So they're going to get my Niv-Mizzet back next turn, which is... I guess that's not the worst for us, because I just, like, tuck it in with Teferi. Although I guess they do get the opportunity to, like, get the Niv with fully open mana, which is not great for me. Yeah, tucking the Reborn is a temporary solution to a permanent problem, is the thing. So I'd much rather just, like, have them take my Niv, hope they can't deal with the Teferi, and then, like, tuck it in. I think that's the play to win line. So, like, this here, if this is all they're doing, like, now I get to take this, and I get to tuck in my Niv-Mizzet, and now I get to redraw this here in a little bit. Like, their Nick gets to kill my Teferi, but hopefully I get to like, work my way into this Niv. Have it take over the game, potentially. Alright, so we're dead. Need to draw a removal spell. And again, not really worried about that. Not only did I mess up the first game, but the opponent's deck isn't something that you really play against. So, and for the purposes of climbing up the ladder, it's a little bit annoying, but for the purposes of, like, actually preparing for the thing that I'm going to play on Thursday, it's just, like, completely irrelevant. Sure. Yes, it's fair. When we've played Grixis in the past, we've always had good Esper control matchups with it. Yeah, Shez, that's literally what we're talking about. Morning, hostage. I mean, most control decks would love a creature land, right? So, this draw sucks, but the reason why I didn't scry during my upkeep there was because if I drew exactly a copy of Sarkhan, I wanted to be able to play him out this turn. And if I scry, I can't cast Sarkhan for the turn, which feels bad. I shocked this in because shocking this in lets me scry with this, cast Opt, and still cast Spell Pierce. Is my goal. We are so smart and thin. Doo-da, doo-da. Bum 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 ba bum. Do 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 do. The reason why I opted to activate this turn instead of using the Rekindling Phoenix is because this way I get to guaranteed flip this in 2 turns, which lets me play the Niv-Mizzet sooner. Looking for Dive Down or Spell Pierce. Negate's actually incredibly good here, huh? Huh. So if I get super aggressive here, I can't play. So I think I'm actually just gonna shock this in and play Rekindling Phoenix, because this lets me leave the Negate up. If I hadn't drawn the Negate, I would YOLO the Niv-Mizzet into play here, but because I drew the Negate, I think it's right to wait. Especially with a secondary threat that I can play out this turn. He's dead, Jim. You've killed him. Are you pleased with yourself? Are you pleased? So people are talking about the likelihood of this deck liking creature lands. One of the reasons why I think this archetype is so reasonable is because Sarkhan is a card that lets us cycle through our creature lands, that lets us cycle through our extra lands, no problem. Depends on the position we're in, party bus. Spell Piercer, dive down, please. Oh, why are we so good at this game? It's so... Magic's really easy when you're lucky, chat. The flat shuffler's working for us today. Flat shuffler's working for us. Get it? Got it. Good. Demystify, Ixalan's Binding, some strokes, some negates, a couple of Fight with Fires. Deafening Clarion comes out, Lava Coil comes out. I think the Rekindling Phoenixes come out. It's close. It's like Shock versus Rekindling Phoenix. I like that Shock cycles with Niv in play, which is nice. It also kills Biogenic Ooze if they board into that game plan. Lava Coil plus our Niv-Mizzets kill their Niv-Mizzets, but I think the Shock is just better. This seems reasonable. Yeah, I don't know. I think especially with them having access to Lava Coil, I think since they saw Rekindling Phoenix game 1, they're likely to leave Lava Coil in, which makes Rekindling Phoenix worse. I think just being on the kill them with Niv-Mizzet plan is fine here. I think we see enough cards and have enough disruption that it's just fine. Well, Shivan Fire doesn't cover an opposing Niv-Mizzet. Shivan Fire only does 4 damage. If it did 5, I'd swap it, but it only does 4. Oh, with your Niv in play, maybe? I don't know, I think you're undervaluing, like, Shock dealing 3 damage to them with Niv in play. Yeah, by boarding the Phoenixes out, we blank their Lava Coils and their Shivan Fires. We accrue virtual card advantage by boarding the Rekindling Phoenixes out. I think the new 4-mana Wrath will push control back towards Jeskai. Nah, probably not. I think Mortify is real good. Gosh, this hand is so good if it had a blue source. There is a new colorless creature land. And I think, again here, I'm going to not scry during my upkeep, because if I draw Sarkhan naturally, I want to cast him. I am intentionally not putting an upkeep stop on here. Opponent missed their 4th land drop. It's very good for us. Swing and a miss. Creature lands are lands that turn into creatures, Party Bus Driver. I think I'm down for a Spell Pierce. I've been watching it much arena content lately, but keep being awesome as always. Thank you for the 17 months, Gundog. And Magic kind of ebbs and flows, right? Like people play more and less Magic at different times, so it'll always be here when you're ready to dive in more. New set coming up looks pretty sweet here. So I can play Niv with Spell Pierce up next turn, which is probably good enough. I think I'd rather lead on Niv rather than the Teferi because Niv resolves through their counterspells. They probably have like Sinister Sabotage or something here. And I think I actually keep the Opt and I wait to cast it. Hey, Emo Robot Gaming, thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Are they gonna kick a blink here? Non-kicked blink, sure. Alright, so do I just play Teferi here? I get like negated and syncopated. I know they have 6 spells in their hand here is the issue. They have 6 spells in their hand. I think I just do this. I think there's a chance they might counter this on the way back down. They did not. Esper Control would kill for Shambling Vent in this standard format. That card would be absurd in that archetype. Do I YOLO Dragon? I think I YOLO Dragon. I don't have any hard protection for him anyways. Like, if they have Negate or Stroke, I can't Spell Pierce to keep Teferi going. I think I just YOLO Dragon. Because, like, even if they untap and kill this, I likely get to draw a card anyways. And if they untap and kill it with like 2 burn spells, it's a pretty big win for me because then I get to untap and play Teferi with Spell Pierce up. I'm actually not stopping on my upkeep again here. If they play a Niv of their own, I have Fight with Fire to just put them deep in the ground. Yeah, like this result is really, really fine for us. Although drawing a dive down makes me wish I would have waited, but I think this is fine overall still. Especially because now, like, even if they have a 2-mana counterspell, I now get to play Teferi with a Spell Pierce to protect it, which is great. Or I could just do that. That one. Alright. Good chat. Good chat. You know what's great? Playing 4 copies of the good card. Playing 4 copies of the good card is more than good. It's great. I mean, this isn't even a YOLO Niv, right? Like, I have dive down here. And, like, they could have a counterspell to protect, to stop this, but, like, I have so many cards in my hand at this point that, like, Teferi's just gonna take over the game, too. So, like, they spent 2 cards to kill this Niv, and the Niv drew me 4 cards. Like, they cast 3 spells that triggered Niv, and I cast 1 that triggered Niv. So, like, they got this Niv off the table, too, but, like, he drew infinite cards. So, like, yeah, they won the battle, but, like, look at their position in the war, right? Oh, that was loose. I should have left all blue mana up.
I know, Lyra. You know what? I'm not done yet.
Demystify can get in the ugly corner over there. Now, there are only 2 more Nivs in my deck at this point, but Teferi could just threaten ultimate here, which is great for us. The fact that Spell Pierce is almost always live in this matchup because of their expansion explosions is also really great. Goes the weasel. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Hold that thought.
That's true. If I hit a shock, I could actually just kill them with shock plus shock plus fight with fire is lethal.
We begin. I know what I'm doing.
I did bottom a shock. I wasn't counting. If I did, we definitely bottomed a shock. So like their catch-up mechanic at this point is a Niv of their own. And I think we have that one covered. They did just shock for us, you're right. Do 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 do. Beep do 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 do. That's the reason you got Bait Fire against Teferi. Yep. That hand seems fine. It's got one ugly card in it, but the spells are good, so let's do it. Yep. Alright, sweet. I'm excited to play this matchup. This hand's not amazing in this matchup, but it is what it is. Alright, do I Lava Coil or do I leave up Spell Pierce for history? I think I leave up Spell Pierce for history. Sure. Woof. Probably dead. Feeling pretty dead. Alright, so I think I Lava Coil this, and then hope to rip Clarion next turn. So we take 8 down to 10 here. One of the things that's really nice about Jeskai is that Jeskai isn't just Stone Cold Dead to flip to Danto. Just because we have Niv-Mizzet that can actually win the game. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Whoa! Ah! Ah! Oh no! Oh no! How did I punt? Oh, I had the Spell Pierce. No, I'm like 0% to ever hold up Spell Pierce there, I think. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to hold up Spell Pierce. I kind of feel like I'm not. That's really close. Like, I get that it's super easy to be like, results based to be like, yeah, they had the things, you got Spell Pierce, so like, is it worth the 2 points of life to like play around? Like, do the 2 points of life matter? All right, I'm going back into old Jeff mode and fragging people that aren't being helpful or just being rude. I don't know, like, it's worth discussing, but like, just like spamming punt isn't helpful or constructive. I don't know, like, it's like, it isn't just like, this is why Magic's an interesting game, because it's not just cut and dry, you definitely do this or you never do this. It's like, talk about it, like, did the points of life matter? I kind of felt like the points of life mattered with the Adanto. Yeah, like, they're getting a token, like, assuming the Clarion resolves and works, they get an Afterlife token and they make it a Adanto token that turn. I don't know. Like, I definitely don't think it's super cut and dry. You definitely shock to, like, get that in there. I don't think Formation's a 4 of in most of those decks either. That's a good question, too. Like, how many do they usually play? Yeah, that's another question, too. Like, are they supposed to cast it main phase? Yeah, random like SCG deck lists have like between 0 and 2 unbreakable formation in the main deck. I don't think it's reasonable to play around that card game 1. I don't think it's reasonable to play around that card game 1. And again, like, it's super easy to be like, look backwards and be like, ha ha ha, you should play around it because they had it. But like, that's not how you get better as a Magic player. I'm just gonna let this thing hit me and get my treasure map down. I'm like, again, just like spamming punt as opposed to like taking a step back and like thinking about why what happened and is it right or wrong. That's how you actually get better. Think critically about what's going on. Don't just laugh and spam. Do you like Sarkhan in this matchup? Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't know. What do you want instead, Deerlick? Like, maybe the negates are good enough? I could see that being a discussion. Yeah, it was definitely funny. Like, I don't think I'm like playing a tap land there is like super valuable. Like, what's going on overall? Probably not gonna get to scry because Magic. Oh, we're gonna get to scry. Thank you, Adanto. The fact that they're still on Adanto Vanguard kind of makes me want more copies of Phoenix in my deck. So like if I would have had a copy of Arclight Phoenix there, or sorry, not Arclight, if I have Rekindling Phoenix that can block Adanto consistently. I have Spell Pierce in my deck, Deerlick. Yeah, I agree, Switch. That's actually something I didn't voice, but it's something I thought about. The fact that the Spell Pierce wasn't live to hit a history or any meaningful spell the following turn meant I didn't think it was worth holding up. Drawing the land here is great because it lets me play Niv with Dive Down up. Well, this deck plays Sarkhan Camboni. So a lot of the times you hold the land. I don't know. And again, I think it's a very teachable moment, but definitely like, and that's one of the things that's different about this channel versus the culture in other places on Twitch, right? In other places on Twitch, you just spam punt and laugh about it because that's all you want to do. But like, most places aren't actually trying to like learn or get better, right? They just want to like salt off about being unlucky and other stupid stuff. Hey, Jabalik, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. It might be right to shoot one of their 2-1s here, but I kind of like just like super pressuring their life total. Opponent agrees that untap with Niv means win the game. Alright, yeah, I kind of agree that this card's probably too slow. And just dies a lot, especially on the draw. I might be wrong on the play too, even, honestly. I think I want my one Demystify. How do I feel about Fight with Fire? That's probably too slow. I feel like I don't hate Rekindling Phoenix. I also don't hate Negate. This seems reasonable. I don't think I want Fight with Fire. This is a little slow, and I've got like 4 Coil, 4 Shocks, 4 Clarion. Let's give this a go. I think the Invoke the Divine's too slow, even though it gains me 4 life. No, I think Binding's way too slow. I definitely would play Fight with Fire before Ixalan's Binding. All the 6 spell hands look so good, right? Because they just got a bunch of spells in them. It's a shame this isn't a blue shard. If this was like a Steam Vent, so I'd snap this off because the spells are so good, but fortunately I have to mulligan that. Double Shock. Sign me up. Bottom of non-land. Yes, Niv closes very quickly. Alright, let's get treasure map going so we can get Niv into play ASAP here. Yep. Probably going to be shocking our way through this history of Benelia. I definitely want that. The question is, I think I still shock here. I think I just want to keep my health total high. I think I just want to keep my health total high. Okay. Yep. I think I shock in the land, cast Clarion, shock the knight in response to Dauntless Bodyguard protecting it. This takes the Bodyguard, the Knight, and the Tithe Taker down to a 1-1. I'm at 15. I'm taking 4 next turn. So this doesn't feel great. It's kind of just a 1-for-1. It like downgrades the Tithe Taker and like makes their Dauntless Bodyguard slightly worse. Sure. Yep. I think I keep that because it gets 1 deeper. I'm not really looking for any 4-mana cards. Like looking for like another Clarion or a Lava Coil. Alright, so I'm taking 7, 8 next turn down to 3. And if I keep the Lyra, so I'm taking 8 next turn down to 3, right? And then the following turn, I'd be taking 6, gain 5, up to 8, go down to 2. But that's probably not good enough, right? Because if, like, they draw extra, so, like, if they draw, like, a 2-power thing next turn, I die. No, because I could block the Adanto Vanguard. Deafening Clarion's good. Lava Coil's decent. I think I'm supposed to keep the Lyra. I think I'm just supposed to hope that they brick off. Just like, draw a 5th land, please. Dead do a number of things here. They haven't just killed me. They haven't just killed me. If I attack, what does attacking play around? Attacking puts me to 8, and then this can block here, and then I take 8, so nope, not attacking. Got it. Need another brick out of them. Nope, that's a Conclave Tribunal. Good game. That was close. That was close, especially considering we were on the draw. Taking the opponent taking the treasure map was a very heads-up play. It slowed us down a lot. The opponent taking the treasure map was very heads-up. Yeah, I think if we untap there, we have a good chance to win. Just because untapping there would let us start attacking with the Lyra, because Niv would start shooting things. And then once we start buffering our health total, we run away with the game pretty quickly, I think. God, why is this Temur Reclamation deck so popular lately? I guess I shouldn't complain, because it feels like a really good matchup for this deck, but it's just kind of tedious to play against. Elf King, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday wherever you're at. No, we played 3 games, Rich. We won the second game. Do we save Op for turn 5 Niv? Maybe. We were on the draw that third game. Oh, Niv blocks Adanto. Because in my mind, I was thinking I wanted to block the 2-power guys because I want to actually take something off the table on a block. And, like, the Conclave Tribunal doesn't actually still beats the Niv, so it doesn't really matter. I think I just want to opt here right away because I want to try and find a Dive Down or a Spell Pierce to protect the Niv. I mean, to be fair, I think this deck earns its bad rap. I think this deck is rancid for a lot of the same reasons that the Nexus deck is rancid. It's incredibly difficult to interact with, which makes for games that are just like where one player doesn't have meaningful decisions. Like, this deck at least has a number of cards that are meaningful interaction, so we got that going for us. Oh, he says as he draws a bunch of bricks. I think I just do this. It doesn't even kill you that much faster most of the time. When you gotta sit there watch them like fumble with their lands and like manually tap a bunch of stuff. It's a similar level of tedious. I don't know. I think discussing which type of dog poop on your shoe smells less bad is kind of silly. They both smell bad is the answer. I don't have that many ways to interact with them game one. So I do kind of just have to race. Shockmeister, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. The penalty for taking turns without advancing the board state is a DQ because it's stalling, and stalling is against the rules. In Paper Magic, if you are executing a loop, you have to be able to tell the judge that comes up and asks, the judge will come up and ask you and say, what does your game state look like at the end of this loop? And if you can't tell them, you're stalling, and that is against the rules. So at this point, I assume they're probably going to be able to take Niv off the table, but Niv getting taken off the table is likely going to draw us 3 to 4 cards, which then leaves them tapped low as well, which means Teferi gets to do his thing, hopefully. If they try and kill him with Expansion Explosion, things are not going to end well for them. Hopefully. I guess they have enough lands to kill him with Expansion Explosion while also countering Dive Down. Hopefully they go greedy and go for max, then we get to Spell Pierce them. So they have 4 plus 8. So they're going to be able to kill this with Expansion Explosion while also holding up Sinister Sabotage. So, even though they likely have a counterspell here, playing the Dive Down and making them play Sinister Sabotage forces them to expend resources from their hand, which is worthwhile. And it lets me draw cards with this, so we can kind of get back up to parity here a little bit faster. I mean, no, it shouldn't depend on the judge if the judge is doing their job. It's a real shame we didn't hit a land last turn, so if we hit a land, we would have been able to hold up Spell Pierce there too, which would have been devastating for them. Sarkhan is a good draw. Because he's going to let us turn these Lava Coils into something useful down the line. That one. Go back where you came from. Yeah, isn't loops aren't a subjective thing. There are clearly defined rules written down that if the judges understand how the rules work, they'll follow them. Yep. How often would I call judges at an event? At least once a tournament. If not more. Depends on how long you played. Depending on what kind of deck you were playing. If you were playing a deck with weird interactions, people would often call judges to confirm your deck worked how you said it was working. I think I play this, and I plus him to try and draw a land, and then I Lava Coil plus Shock to kill this. So if they have like a Spell Pierce or a Syncopate here, they get to get me. So I put a stop on my end step, so that way, after Teferi untaps my lands, I get to go ahead and shock and finish this off. So being on the other side of this Niv exchange, we're like, we've spent a bunch of cards to kill the Niv, which means they've gassed up. So even though we're like, this is good to get the Niv off the table, ultimately we're still gonna lose this game. It's like here, especially with this blink of an eye, like they've drawn what, like 6 cards now?
No more game.
They've got like 10, 11 cards in their hand now. One of my favorites from old Legacy interactions that are silly is Sylvan Library plus Life from the Loam. If you dredge all 3 cards from Sylvan Library, you don't have to pay any life and you get to keep all of them. Which is just good, clean live in. I mean, judges are human, Jabrizi. So like, I don't know, your anecdote of the human made a mistake, so I never trusted humans again, like that's really silly. It's like this one time I was closing a car door and accidentally caught my hand in it, and it really hurt for a week, so I don't use cars anymore. I don't want to open or close those doors again. They're out to get me. You never called that judge again? Well, asking for a different judge when you call a judge over is actually unsportsmanlike conduct, I'm pretty sure. So, that's also not something you should do. You also shouldn't say, I don't want you to be my judge. Not only is it rude, but it can get you into trouble. You can also appeal, right? Like if a judge gets something wrong. Like I've definitely had legacy interactions before where like I knew what the ruling was and like the floor judge messed it up. I appealed to the head judge. They upheld the wrong ruling. I was like, can we like reference the gatherer here? Because I'm confident what this ruling is supposed to be. And then they'd look it up and apologize and fix it. Like so long as you're respectful about it, if you're confident in what something's supposed to be, a lot of people will take 30 seconds and look it up on their phone. You're just not supposed to be rude. You'll get further in life not being rude. Yeah, I think there's even a lot of high-level players, Zach, that aren't familiar with those documents, that they, like, play Magic tournaments super regularly. And it's embarrassing, in my opinion, especially people who, like, would consider they play Magic as their job, and, like, they're not familiar with the tournament rules that, like, are supposed to, like, govern their job. So, like, it's like, oh, so you're just, like, bad at your job. You're unprepared, right? Like, you don't know the rules of the game that you're supposed to play as your employment? You supposedly play as your employment? Nathan Brown, thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I have enough mana here that I'm just keeping this Opt on top. Opt on top. Opt on top. I'm actually going to play this Mountain out because I would like to play around Dispel Pierce here. Actually, small mistake on my part there. I should tap Sacred Foundry and Mountain here, not Sulfur Falls and Mountain, because if I opt into a Spell Pierce, I can't cast it now. Which is a big deal. that for now. There's a lot of blue sources, and I get a lot of looks in my deck. Demox doling out the sub-gifties. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Am I just YOLOing Teferi? I don't think I am. I think I'm saving him for post-Niv. How do you feel about this deck compared to Esper Control in the sense of reaching Mythic? Well, this deck doesn't make me want to claw out my eyes while I play it, so it's preferable to Esper Control for me personally. Speaking of mistakes, I find Esper Control incredibly tedious to play. I'm big fan of Niv-Mizzet. He actually kills people. Looking for a counterspell here. I assume this is going to die, but I kind of just need to, like, work through it. And, like, if it dies, it's going to draw me cards while it dies. So, you know, more power to you. Crushing Canopy is a worst case scenario because the Niv only drew one card, which feels bad. But I don't have a lot else going on here. Oh, that was an A+ Hoaglandia interaction right there. Thanks for gifting me speech. Immediately gets timed out. The benevolent Demox giveth, the benevolent Demox taketh away. Actually, why would you tap my lands like that? Let's do this to start.
I can no longer keep up the pace.
So I'm going to draw with this treasure map because this way I can untap the treasure map with my Teferi trigger and draw again immediately. Of course, Wahalo there. We aim to please. We live to serve. There's 5 cards in their bin, so search for Azcanta. Worth noting there, my opponent elected not to Chemister's Insight at end of turn, which implies that their hand is a bunch of good cards, which is kind of terrifying. Yeah, good chance we're dead here. K-Dog, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm Rick James with the 2 months. Thanks for checking back in. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Thanks for keeping me employed here.
Stop that now.
Stop that. Good chance Teferi's dead here.
Another move.
Dive down to protect Teferi. Yep. I can't even counter this to do anything meaningful because countering it'll give them another Niv-Mizzet trigger, which then kills the Teferi.
Hey, that was uncalled for.
Need to draw a Fight with Fire. And again, even if we draw a Fight with Fire at this point, it's probably not good enough just because they've drawn so many cards with the Niv-Mizzet. We drew a land, so... Yep. Hey, what's going on, RX Kennedy? So countering the Chemister's Insight only stops them from drawing one card because they draw a card from the Negate countering Chemister's Insight. So I think it's pretty unlikely that Negate is stopping Teferi from dying there. So I'd rather just hold the Negate so that way I can use it to protect a Fight with Fire next turn should I draw one. Yeah, you board in Binding and Fight with Fire. Both of those are good in that spot. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna bottom that. Yep. Alright. Take 2 at the White Weenie matchup. Let's do it. Our hand is not good for this matchup, and again, this is one of the big downsides of playing a deck that's trying to be interactive in a lot of positions like this. There's going to be a lot of games where, and this is why control decks in general tend to be bad in best of one, is because not knowing how to mulligan is a big downside for these style of decks. That Shock was a very good draw. Hopefully they play History of Benalia this turn, so I get to have this work. If they play a card I can Spell Pierce this turn, we could potentially be in a good spot. That is not a card I can Spell Pierce, though, so we're probably dead. This is a discard a card, gain 5. What's going on, Kennedy? That is not a Deafening Clarion I wanted for Christmas. Hey, look, a distraction. He's dead, Jim. Impossible. Now this will be one of the nice things about playing on Thursday is deck lists are heads up because it's a streamer tournament. So decks like this get better because I'd know to mulligan a hand like this if I was playing against White Weenie. I think trying to metagame this current standard format, Rick James, is a pretty big mistake. I think this format's very similar to Modern in that there are so many different decks that are competitive that playing an archetype that's explicitly only good against one subset of decks is just asking to lose. I think there's too many things that are good to play a deck that's only good against one type of thing. We're dead here. We have a black splash, which is interesting. I guess I can tuck the Marshal and then like have Niv-Mizzet next turn. Solar Blaze would be sweet here, yeah. And like the important thing to remember is that like even just like what you see, I play Magic, you know, almost 40 hours a week most weeks, and even the number of things that you see here aren't super representative of the format as a whole. It's very anecdotal. What on God's green earth? So Pride of Conquerors is one that sees play sometimes. One that gets +1/+1 for one is a new one to me, though. I should probably just suck it up and play the white aggro deck on Thursday. It just doesn't generate very interesting games of Magic. I'm not sure that I care enough about the tournament to like play a deck that's just good versus a deck that I enjoy playing. It's close. That's true. They are less likely to be on Unbreakable formation with that many other pump spells. Sure. Correct, W. And at the end of the day, like, Magic has so much variance, and it's just one of the things I like to hammer home on this stream, that it's just like, if I'm not gonna enjoy what I'm playing, like, playing the white aggro deck versus something like this that I kind of like is like, I'm getting, what, maybe 5 percentage points, if that, by playing the slightly more optimal deck, but, like, that many percentage points doesn't mean I'm guaranteed to win by any means, and if I lose, it's just extra miserable, because I'm, like, basically not gonna have any good games with it. That's a card. Jurassant, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around here. This is just terrible, Auto Tapper. I literally have an opt in my hand and you're gonna tap the Steam Vents? What are you doing with yourself? Get it together. Stop it. Get some help. I'm gonna bottom that because it's not a blue land. It's valuing Demystify on a board where there's no targets for it. That's actually what it's doing, isn't it?
No sword, don't doubt my methods.
Nah, I think it's just randomly prioritizing one over the other, Zach. I'd be very surprised if this has a target is something that it takes into its considerations. Morning, Buckles. I'm gonna go ahead and bin this Demystify, speaking of. Found a shock, that's good. So I get to go ahead and Lava Coil this, shock this. This keeps Sarkhan alive. Yeah, it's not truly random, right? Like, computers aren't random, they do what they're told. There's some arbitrary metric that makes it prioritize the Demystify over the opt.
You want to fight? I don't need this. I need this.
Yeah, could be white, blue, black, red, green order. Well, this game's done. JK locks it on OP. Alright, one Niv-Mizzet, please. Is that good enough? I think that's good enough. It doesn't keep Sarkhan alive, but if I draw a shock, it keeps him alive. Or a Shivan Fire. Backup Sarkhan, deal. Anyone had good results with the Bolas deck? No, Grixis just leaves a lot to be desired in this format. It tends to be worse than both Jeskai and Esper especially. If you look on my website, there is an iteration of Grixis Dragons that's okay, but I do think it's worse than both Esper and Jeskai. I mean, it might be that I'm at a high enough life total that I should wait a turn to, like, burn less treasures and possibly have protection for this Niv. Yeah, enchantment hate's a big part of the reason, Rick James. It's just hard to be a control deck without flexible answers. Yeah, and I binned my Demystify earlier. In theory, I could have jammed both. No, I don't think jamming both there is correct. Mostly because if they killed Niv with this, this would then kill this, so I think that's not ideal. I wanna hold on to Sarkhan. think the Holy Grixis is like 4-color Grixis. One of Cleansing Dove would be pretty decent. So I think I'm gonna Spell Pierce my own Sarkhan here and then pay for it. Excellent. Is there a reason to do that instead of just looting with Sarkhan? Yeah, it draws me deeper. It gets the Spell Pierce. It turns the Spell Pierce into another card. I'm gonna hedge and target this just in case I draw another non-creature spell I can cast this turn. Or I draw like Teferi or Sarkhan. Rats. I guess I could have also... I could have Lava Coiled this and then killed this, but like this is a 5/5 so it can block these. Although I guess if they attack with the 4/4, I'm probably not blocking it. No, we're definitely not blocking it now. Alright, so I need a Deafening Clarion. Clarion sweeps the board fully. Otherwise, I'm dead. Wow, that's just brutal. Is that a bug? You had tapped with Divot, didn't win, right? Should definitely file for compensation. Is our cumulative variance from running good the last couple days with this deck catching up, right? Nah, that would only given us one more draw, Mueller, and it would have put us a turn behind, so I think it was right to do what I did there. Whew! I have never been so excited to see a Wild Growth Walker in my entire life. It was like, just like rolled my eyes and six shows like, another Temur Reclamation deck, yay. Yeah, I think we definitely have tools to beat White Weenie. Yeah, that's the joke, Dubby. Would like to draw an untapped land here. All of our lands are untapped. Alright, so I think we just start YOLOing Nivs into play, right? They can't Vivian yet. They can't Hostage Taker or Chupacabra me. They could Vraska's Contempt me, but Vraska's Contempt draws me a card at least, so I've got that going for me. If they Hostage Taker me, I get a couple of turns to draw land, just because, Alright, well, they can throw away their Branch Walker to kill Sarkhan, so we've got that going for us. They've got that going for them, sorry. Or are they missing a land drop too? That'd be real good. Jamming Niv is usually the correct line. All right, change of plans. Change of plans. Woo! Get to have our cake and eat. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I tapped both my red, and I tapped both my red intentionally there because I wanted to leave up dive down. I wanted to leave up dive down. For the reason you are currently witnessing, I wanted to leave up dive down. Alright, they need to hit land the next 2 turns to cast my Niv. Yep. Blame the auto tapper. Yeah, not so much. Correct. With Niv in play, Shock also counters Hostage Shaker. That is correct. That's what I've had if I would have had that up. Clarion would be a great rip. Sure.
Would you like to see what's left of Skull? The wilds are my shield.
So I can kill this with Shock, but I'm not using Shock at end of turn because if I draw a second Shock, I want to shock the Hostage Taker. I think I just do this. I think I just do this. I think I just do this. We've used the one time, and that's why cumulative variance is biting us. Yep, exactly. Blacker Lotus, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around.
I'll be back, just like before.
I'll show you unhinged.
Iceman NPC, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for cashing your Bezo bucks in this way this month and keeping me employed. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for sending them my way this month. Yep. Poor little Niv. Doesn't even remember who his papa is. If we hit a Deafening Clarion next turn, we get to kill their Niv and get our own back, right? Only watching you a couple of days, but learned enough to move up a full rank in best of 1. Awesome, Iceman. So I'm just dead, right? Because they put me to 2. That was a good play on their part. Because now the Niv kills me if I cast 2 spells. That's a heads up play from them not killing this. That was well played on their part. Correctly identifying that they needed to. Correctly identifying their role in the current game. Negate's not super good here. Spell Pierce isn't super good here. I like all the Phoenixes. I think the Fight with Fires are like fine. Maybe I don't want both Fight with Fires. Love the dive downs. I think Stroke's very reasonable because it counters Hostage Taker and what's her name? So I'm gonna trim a Shock rather than the Fight with Fire. Now, Lyra's not very good in this matchup. Lyra often just like eats a Vivian down tick or a removal spell and dies. She doesn't generate any value. So things like Niv have higher upside when they live, and we can protect them with dive down more readily. And Rekindling Phoenix especially is reasonable because it comes back after it dies. But Lyra's upside is not worth how often she... Basically, Niv's upside is really high, so like risking him just getting shot is worth leaving him in. But Lyra's upside is pretty minimal, and she just dies a lot of the time. So like her downside is not proportional to her upside. I'm gonna lead on Basic Mountain so I can shock a land war elf on 1. I think this deck's probably pretty close against Esper Control. Their Thought Erasures are great, but our Niv-Mizzets are insane, so... It's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. How much of my regular Magic budget do I assign to it? So my takeaway, personally... Whenever people ask, like, should they get into digital Magic and how much is, what is a Unreal? Thank you for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. My question to people wondering how much they should spend on Arena, like their budget or whatnot, is like, what are you looking to get out of Magic? So digital Magic is much better at actually letting you play games of Magic. Like, the raw volume of games that you play digitally is night and day to the raw number of games that you're able to play in paper. So, if you're someone who's playing Magic primarily for the social interactions, generally speaking, I'd discourage you from putting all of your stuff into Arena because Arena doesn't generate those social interactions. Magic's a social game for you. But if you're playing Magic as just like a problem-solving game who likes the puzzles, you're going to get to play and solve way more puzzles digitally than you ever could in paper. Just because in terms of like Magic per minute, you get way more Magic per minute digitally than you do with paper. If they have a hostage taker for our map here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We don't have anything going on, really. Think we'll ever see permanent stops on Arena? No, I'd be pretty surprised if they ever introduced permanent stops on this application. You ever having watched a number of professional Magic players play Magic the Gathering online, the number of them who have stops literally everywhere you can set stops just so they don't accidentally miss something at the cost of making the gameplay absurdly slow is ridiculous. And I think they're trying to avoid that in Magic Arena. People just having, like, infinite stops and slowing the game to a crawl because of it. Alright, really need to draw a shock or a Disdainful Stroke here. Alright, I got one shot to draw a shock here. It's a really, really close game. We were just dead if they attacked. No, because I could have used Dive Down to draw a card. I could have blocked and then used Dive Down to draw a card and then drawn a card with Treasure Map to kill one of their other 3/2s. So we were not just dead if they attacked. Because Niv deals the damage whenever you draw a card, so drawing with Treasure Map doesn't trigger him to draw an extra card, but it does still deal a point of damage. Part of me wants to just be done playing on the ladder, because there's just so much Wilderness Reclamation on the ladder. I have to go back and, like, look at it, but I feel like, anecdotally, in my brain, it's like, 5 subs to concede, deal. I feel like, anecdotally, like, there's way, way less Wilderness Reclamation in the constructed events. Marty always comes through with the huge plus EV play. Morning, Mr. Photon. What do I do if he doesn't gift the subs? Nah, Marty, did you see the sub count gif next to Marty's name? Marty's good for the subs. Yeah, Wilderness Reclamation is a giant blight in an otherwise really great format. It's a real shame that the R&D decided that they were okay with it. Worst Neighbor NA, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Maybe I'm supposed to Treasure Map here, actually.
I need this.
Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to Treasure Map there, actually. Sarkhan just, like, discard, draw, like, gain 4. Just like, hey, look at distraction.
Nicol Bolas, I have failed you.
Yeah, I hope they decide as the... No play on 4 is real good for us here. Yeah, I've heard Esper controlled players say that their teamer matchup is really bad. And like this deck is like such a good testament to like, it's just, I personally find it really miserable because like, I think this deck even has an okay Reclamation matchup. It's just not fun for me to play against. I really just don't like the games that get generated. I think I just need a Deafening Clarion, right? Otherwise the CGN commander just eats me alive. Yeah, this deck's fine against Esper 2. We're talking explicitly about Temur Reclamation, though. It's like we're dead here. Yeah, I think playing the Sarkhan on 3 was incorrect. I should have played Treasure Map and activated it. It would have let me see the same number of cards, but would have flipped my Treasure Map 1 turn sooner, and actually would have let me play Niv-Mizzet this turn, which likely could have made a big difference. Eric's, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Afternoon, had the last bits for another shiny. Will do, Solera. Thanks for the support. Negates and Spell Pierces aren't great here. I think Dive Down is actually okay. I think the Planeswalkers are actually kind of hard to protect in this matchup, so I'm going to trim Teferis, and I'm going to trim a couple of the Sarkhans, I think. Just lean more into my creature game plan for closing the game out. Yeah, red-green aggro is really good. I should probably just play... I could stomach playing that deck on Thursday. I think that deck's okay against Reclamation, especially if you have a fistful of Cinderbinds on the board. It is unreal how much animation delay there is. So I wanted to scry during my upkeep. I think I just opt now, because if I opt and hit Lava Coil, I can kill this. There could be merit to treasure mapping first there, but if I treasure map, I can't cast Lava Coil. Someone asked about Temur Climb for Thursday. Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Actually, today I've been getting beat up enough that we're going to play Temur Climb later today. Just to see how it feels. I think I want to just play Phoenix this turn. Lava Coil or Clarion, please. Alright, Niv should very quickly take this game over for us, especially backed up by Dive Down. Hey, Window Head, thanks for the biddies. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans.
Oh. Sure.
Draw and fire.
Have a good one, Rick. Alright, so hoping to draw a blue source in our next 2 cards. That way after they kill this first Niv-Mizzet, we can play the second one with Dive Down up.
Stop nature.
It's a Goblin Chain Whirler. Goblin Chain Whirler means that they have a Lava Coil. they can kill my Niv-Mizzet. Collision Colossus also means they can kill my Niv-Mizzet. So, hoping to draw a blue source next turn. The Chain Whirler means that they get to attack this turn, which is unfortunate. Although I guess they can't attack with Growth Chamber Guardian, right? Alright, yeah, just take 3. I can't trade here because then the Chain Whirler eats up my Phoenix. Have a good one, Prince. Alright, even just drawing a red source is good here because it lets me Niv plus shock, but blue source would be ideal. Alright, if I was right last turn, I think it's right again this turn. We're 3 points of health lower, but I think it's still correct, especially with drawing another one.
Meet my newest friend.
I don't know, like another Niv's like not the Stone Cold Burst here. The Chain Whirler makes him blocking a little bit awkward, but I think that's fine. They need Lava Coil or Collision Colossus, or we're in an okay spot. And if they had Lava Coil earlier, they probably would have ended our Phoenix, so I don't think they have that one. This is a good attack. Because even if I eat Zertog Goblin here, they can double Whirly Boy and finish off Niv-Mizzet. So I think I just have to do this. I just have to do this. So now they do get to end my token. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, I don't think I can take an extra 4 there though. I'm just dead here, right? Yeah, opponents played well, and their draws have lined up well into what we're doing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play this deck on Thursday. I expect the Gruul aggro deck to be popular, and this deck just doesn't feel like it has much of a chance here. Too many Gruul Harpooners and Collision Colossuses. Yeah, good games, opponent. Yeah, that's good. I needed that. That was valuable. I feel like I learned something. As for a wrap-up on this deck, I don't really have any changes to make. I think I'm happy with where we ended yesterday. I feel like we had a mix of bad matchups with that last deck, and then like we hit pretty bad beats in both the White Weenie matchups that were close. So I think if you're looking to play 4 Niv-Mizzets, this is definitely the way I would do it. I like the cut of this deck's Jib, but I don't think I'm gonna play it on Thursday. All right, I'm actually gonna. I think I'm gonna play some Teamer Climb here for a hot second. I need to figure out what I'm playing on Thursday because I have to submit a deck list tomorrow morning.